Muli, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Maligayang pagdating sa Park Conversations Live dito sa Rizal Park, Luneta. Ang proyektong ito ay hatid sa inyo ng National Parks Development Committee at ng Department of Tourism. Ako po si Sarah Jo Nagbisit, ang inyong host para sa araw na ito. Ang Park Conversations Live ay isa sa mga educational projects ng NPDC na may layuning magkaloob ng mga libreng seminar para sa publiko patungkol sa mahahalaga at akmang paksa sa ating bansa. Para sa araw na ito, ang ating Park Conversation Session ay pinamagatang Republic Act 6713, the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. Ang ating panauhing tagapagsalita ay si Attorney Maria Cecilia U. Tirol, Director for Visayas National Museums ng National Museum of the Philippines, kung saan ay nangangasiwa siya ng mga museo sa Regions 6, 7, and 8 at satellite offices sa Iloilo City, Tagbiliran, Bohol, Dumaguete City, Cebu City, at San Jose de Buenavista, Antique. Nagsilbi rin siyang opisyal sa Tourism Promotions Board at Court of Appeals. Nagtapos siya sa Bachelor of Law sa University of San Agustin at Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Marketing sa University of the Philippines, Visayas. Mga kasama, magbigay po tayo ng malakas na palakpakan sa ating panauhing tagapagsalita, si Attorney Maria Cecilia U. Tirol.
Good afternoon, everyone. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Maulan? Anyway, I think ang topic ko this afternoon is something that's quite familiar with all of you. No? Sino, may I ask, are new in government? Sino sa atin dito ang bago sa gobyerno? Wala? Ikaw, how long have you been in government po, sir? Pwede na rin. Baka magre-review na lang tayo ng Republic Act 6713 this afternoon. Baka memorize nyo na nga eh. I'll take a wild guess. I'm sure this is not the first time for most of us to have attended a lecture on Code of Ethics natin. May I see hands kung sino yung naka-attend ng any lecture or seminar or conversation on the topic of our Code of Conduct. May I see? Wala. Lahat naka-attend na. So familiar na kayo, so magchismisan na lang kaya tayo this afternoon. Well, in any case, I couldn't say no when I received an invite from Mariel to give a lecture for NPDC. I have colleagues here, no, I was with for a few years in the National Museum of the Philippines. So I couldn't refuse. Mahirap deny ng request ng NPDC. That's why I dressed up this afternoon. Naka-green ako para I'm in tune with everyone here. How do I make this? I'll try my lecture as paano ba? As relatable as possible. Kasi if we talk about laws, ang expectation natin dyan, technical siya. No? But it's good. It makes me more comfortable now knowing that many of us, or if not most of us, have been exposed to this topic already. So maybe we will just rehash some important learnings, and I'll try to be as less of a legalistic person as I can, and ilalagay ko sa level na maintindihan natin lahat. And as much as possible, I want us all to to be open about this thing, kasi ang laws naman are living instruments. If we see that they are not working anymore, we can always ask legislation or revision to improve them. No? This is a 34-year-old law. So medyo not that old but not that young. No? And many laws have been developed premised on our code of ethics. madami na dyan, no? Nagko-cross to. I was discussing with Mariel kanina that this topic is not something that is to be taken singly. Kasi ang daming nakaangkla dito. The Ombudsman Act or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act also finds basis in this law. CSC guidelines, or yung sabi ko nga, RACS also finds basis on this law. So marami tayong kailangang i-discuss beyond the letters of what I will show later, no? And also to guide everyone this afternoon, ang materials ko are pasensya na, are text heavy. It's because no matter how hard I tried to reduce the words, I cannot do away with certain things that I think we all should absorb again. It might have been years since the last time that you were oriented on this law. So I think important again for us to be acquainted with certain terms, certain vows that we make every time na nanunumpa tayo, andyan din yan. And I'm sure, no, like all agencies throughout the country, marami ding mga hindi ideal that situations that occur day in, day out in our offices. And sometimes, I can relate with you, we just want to do away with all these irregularities. It's just that, hindi natin alam paano, or if alam natin paano, we don't have the courage to do something about it. Tama po ba? Maliit na agency si NPDC, but I'm sure you all have your share of problems, just like we do sa NM, and I'm sure all other agencies sa scheme of government natin. So, for now, allow me to just reorient you again, no, with certain important provisions of this law, but every now and then I will interact with you. If that's okay with you. Kasi ayoko ng lecture park conversations kasi. So dapat diskurso ito. No? If there are things in a certain provision of this act that you feel is no longer working, maybe we can share thoughts on those things. Bakit hindi na siya working? Or may kulang ba na implementing law for it to have more teeth? Let's talk about that. Yun yung gusto kong mangyari this afternoon. Because ayaw ko yung lecture na ako lang yung involved. So I hope na this somehow will refresh everyone as well as empower all of us. Kung bakit nandito tayo ngayon, we may be a small group, but we are here for a purpose, and I want this afternoon to be as purposeful and as relatable as I can make it for everyone. Okay? So I'll start na. May kape ba tayo, Mariel? Just in case. My fear kasi is medyo very legal ito. But as I said kanina, let's work together on this. Okay? Okay, so Republic Act 6713, 34 years old na po ito. The Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. Throughout the government, walang exception. Okay? Casual ka man, non-career ka man, basta you're in government service, this covers you. Okay? So ano ba yung overarching consideration why we have this act? Bakit kaya? If you look at kasi ang title ng law, it says, it is the policy of the state to promote high standards of ethics in public service. Public officials and employees shall at all times be accountable to the people and shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty, act with patriotism and justice, lead modest lives, and uphold public service, public interest over personal interest. Ano yung basis nito? Why do we have this law? Palagi itong sinasabi It's because of that primary and overarching consideration that public office is a public trust. And this finds life in the Constitution itself. If you look at Section 2, Article 2 rather, of the Philippine Constitution, number 2 dyan, if after the preamble, makikita mo dyan, Declaration number 1, state policy. The Philippines is a democratic and republican state. Number 1, democratic, and we are a republic. Sovereignty resides in the people, and all government authority resides in them. The reason why we have this act is because we are, as a democratic state, we are allowed, with as much leeway as we are afforded, to intervene in public service. Hindi tayo autocratic, hindi tayo dictatorial. We actually are supposed to be running the government. It's just that we run the government by electing representatives, electing officials. In other words, if democracy is working well in the Philippines, we should be able to have a voice. Kasi yung mga tao sa gobyerno, agents lang naman natin by giving them the benefit of our vote. That's why we have this act. Kasi kung public official ka, you only embody the will of the people. That's how it's supposed to mean. That's what it's supposed to mean. Hindi na yung pinili mo, ilo-lord over ka pa. Yun eh. We are allowed, we should have the power to intervene in the work of the government because it exists for us. Yun yung reason nun. But I feel, personally, I'd like to interject my personal view. Over the years, we've been through a dictatorial state in the 70s. We have transitioned into something more free after the EDSA Revolution 1986. Then medyo na-enjoy natin. Sa present, we can still see remnants of bridled and repressed exercise of our rights as, agents of the government. Because we are agents of the government, because we have been chosen by appointment to be in government. So, I hope by reminding you, naintindihan nyo yung power nyo din. With this, by virtue of this law, naintindihan nyo ang power din natin. And our responsibility as well. Let's, for now, absorb natin yan, pero as people, let's say, you remove yourself from your persona na taga-gobyerno ka. Public employees tayo. But as a person, as a taxpayer, makikita mo rin na for those that we look up to lead us and govern us, more than anything, they have a responsibility for the trust that we repose in them by choosing them to be our superiors. So that's how it should work. In a healthy democracy, that's how it should work. Although I have heard comments na Filipinos are too democratic, masyado tayong nakikisawsaw. But I think is that not how it's supposed to be? We ought to correct because it's our responsibility. If we want a good country that's fair, that serves us, we should take it upon ourselves to do something about it. If we want to get to a place na maging first world country natin, we ought to fight for it by way of empowering legislation like this. Okay? Okay. Let me move on. Naintindihan ba natin to? Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people, serve them with responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, act with patriotism and justice, and lead modest lives. That's an article I found on the internet, but that's US naman na perspective. But I think, throughout all countries that are democratic. That's how it's supposed to be. Public office is a public trust, signifies that government officials have been entrusted with public power by its people. So sa atin talaga nanggagaling yan. The reason why they're there is because of us. Officials are expected to hold this power for the benefit of the people and never for the benefit of themselves. It is also presumed that government officials shall conduct their own affairs not to infringe on public interest. These people are clothed with power and should be guided with the paramount concept that of public office above personal interest at all times. I already mentioned this earlier. Okay, let's go to the mga kailangan nating alamin ulit. Ano yung mga responsibility natin as public officials and public employees? First, we should be committed to public interest. What does that mean? It says there, unahin natin yung public over personal natin at all times. But you feel na sometimes pinag-OT ka, pero you need to tutor your anak. Ano yung view natin dyan? This is an everyday thing for mothers or for fathers who are given the charge of looking after their kids. No? Paano yan? For example, skeleton workforce ka. Pero all of a sudden, may family emergency. How does that play? Sige nga, let me ask. Sino yung parents dito? Who has been in this situation? Yung pinagpipili ka ng yung family life mo or commitment to or prior commitment that's personal over a call of duty? Wala? Hindi. Sige. Sino yung mother dito? Sige dear, ikaw. Pag may situation na ganito, wala talagang, may emergency. And there's no one to really foot in the gap. It's just that nag-commit ka sa baby mo or anak mo na magsisine kayo today. Ano yung pipiliin mo? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's a common situation talaga, no? That's the fate of government workers na minsan ang holiday mo wala na. And if ang offset mechanism sa gobyerno is CTO. Now, most of the time kasi may period of validity yan na 1 year, hindi mo rin ma-avail. Kasi wala naman tayo palaging ready fund to monetize that by way of overtime pay. But I think, at least naka-point out tayo ng problema. I think, and I also feel you, ito yung situations like this ought to have a remedyo. Hindi pwedeng CTO. Ini-note ko yan. You know, it's this kind of conversation that when we get real, no? When we go to the very basics, kasi laws are wonderfully worded, but do we really benefit from them on a more grounded and realistic sense? Wala eh. And this is a pervading issue. Itong unahin mo yung trabaho, but you don't get paid. Practically, you don't get paid. Diba? And it would have already amounted to so many thousands of pesos if na-monetize, if nakadevelop ang gobyerno ng system of proper monetization and crediting of all these hours work away from home. You know? But we don't have that eh. CTO yung binibigay eh. So there ought to be something to remedy situations like this. Okay, so thank you for that. So ako, ang belief ko dito is, while there is the call of public service, i-balance natin na we have to learn to say no sometimes. Especially if it's costing our personal lives more than we feel we are compensated for or willing to give. Yun na lang yung ano. Hindi naman yan crime eh. Hindi tayo makukulong dyan na, no, I have to choose my kid now because I have already delayed this 100 times before. Okay, code number 2. Professionalism. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Diba, pervading din yung image natin sa public, ay, taong gobyerno yan. Lumaki ako sa ganon na konsepto eh, na wala pang break, nagpapamanicure na. Diba? Maaga papasok kasi titingnan yung pagkain sa kantin at magpapalista na. Alas 10, tatawagin niya si kuya yung nag-iikot, ito yung order ko, pang lunch ko. Diba? Yun yung image natin. Tapos wala pang alas 5, 4:30, alas 4, nakapila na sa bandy clock. Doon tayo palagi tinatamaan eh. But I can't fault people for looking at us that way because it's happening. And I'm sure itong CSC and other agencies involved in regulating public service have been doing their part, no, to slowly tawag dito, dilute this image that we have. And I'm sure madami sa atin nakaka-step up na hindi na ganon. Why? May ISO na tayo. 'Di ba? Na may mainstream. Dekahon ang operations. Prescribed ang timeline. May uniform committee na. Hindi pwedeng papasok ng opisina. May tsinelas kasi bago yung pedicure. Kumikinang pa. Pwede yon. Or sobrang ikli. Ikli ng palda. May ganun na. Those are measures, no, to ensure that slowly nawawala ang image natin na hindi maganda. Okay? So what is professionalism under 6713? We are expected to perform and discharge our duties with the highest degree of excellence, professionalism, intelligence, and skill. Ang presumption ng tao, pagpipila sa'yo sa window number 3, alam niya exactly kung sino yung kausap niya and sure siya na yung kakausapin niya alam ang sagot sa lahat ng tanong niya. That's competence. Now, if may konting aberya, ang tao na yan, that public employee is also expected to be resourceful, to find ways. Palagay natin, sabi ko nga, dekahon yung procedure. But always, if not most of the time, may mga spaces dyan na gray area. Hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin mo kasi hindi na prescribe ang step. Ang expectation ng public sa atin, isahanapan natin ng way yang walang nakalagay na next step. That's what skill is all about. Kasi hindi yan, kahit tayo, di ba, we draft guidelines, hindi natin yan ma-contemplate lahat ng situation. Na malalagyan natin ng from 1 to 10, lahat ng pwedeng situation, malalagyan natin ng step. Ang skill, dyan yan papasok. To clear the gray area, ika nga, we have to find ways. Hindi pwedeng no sa gobyerno, di ba? Unless very clear ang prohibition and the guideline says, wala na after this, your application is denied. If nakalagay yon, that's clear. Pero sometimes, from 1 to 10, meron dapat 7 point A na hindi nalagay. Kasi hindi natin naisip na situations such as that can arise. So doon papasok ang skill natin. So problem solving. Yun din yung expectation ng tao. If hindi alam ang susunod na gawin, ano ang dapat gawin? Correct. Go to your supervisor or go to someone who's experienced. Huwag itulog ang papel and say, walang naka-prescribe na step eh. Makikita nyo later as we progress in the conversation, matatouch on natin yung mga situations na yan. Okay? Justness and sincerity. Remain true to the people at all times. Act with justness and sincerity. Do not discriminate against anyone, especially the marginalized. Nakaka-encounter ba tayo nito na pag mukha kang poor, hindi mo kakausapin? May ganun, di ba? Or parang nakapila ka, pero may mas mabango, tingnan, uunahin mo yung isa. Di ba? At saka common practice natin, I won't deny it happens. Pag may friend ka na nakapila na number 20, di ba susunduin mo? Lalagay mo dito sa harap? Not all the time, but it happens. Di ba? So yun. Be just, be fair. Ayan. May continuation pa yung code number 3 na yon. Shall not dispense or extend undue favors on account of their office to relatives, whether kapatid by blood or in-law mo. Yun. Simple lang. Asawa ko, paunahin mo sa pila. Ako yung director dito. Diba? Dapat hindi pwede. Ang sabi ng code na to, hindi pwede. Ang sinasabi dito na walang nakalagay, no, to what degree. So we should construe them as any degree of relation that is within 6 degrees. Yun yung standard. Sa nepotism, mamaya titingnan natin kasi mas maliit ang degree. Pero here, as a general rule within the 6th degree of consanguinity, or of consanguinity, ano yan? 6th degree. Second cousin. Kung third cousin mo na siya, pwede na. Kasi strangers na kayo. 6th degree, second cousin. Pwede na yan pag third cousin mo. Yan, political neutrality. Nangyayari ba to? We are to provide service to everyone uniformly without unfair discrimination regardless of party affiliation or preference. So that's another thing that we should observe. Whether it's election season or not, kung let's say kahit religious group niya yan, or what? Ano pa ba yung mga affiliations natin? In our communities, for example, mga fraternities, diba? So wala tayong titingnan ng mga affiliations. Madali lang naman i-follow to eh. Unless you're highly political. Extend prompt, courteous, and adequate service to the public. Ito madali lang to. Very familiar tayo dito. 'Di ba? Meron kayong ISO, 'di ba? Pang ilang year nyo na of certification? Tagal-tagal na rin kayo. Alam ko nauna kayo sa amin. Dito papasok yan, among other things. But ISO kasi is something that the agency procures. Hindi to government procured, di ba? Oo. And it applies to both private and public corporations and offices. Okay? So ang ISO, ang agency mismo, ang public office mismo, nag-i-initiate niyan. But in the context of conduct letter E, itong responsiveness to the public, meron tayong existing law, the Ease of Doing Business, that amended the Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007. Familiar tayo dito, kasi meron tayong Citizens Charter. Meron tayo, di ba? NPDC. Kasi ang directive is dapat ang Citizens Charter will contain all processes. Meron tayong system of requirements up to the end of the process when the request and application is issued. Tama po ba? Oo. Tapos dyan din nakasaad ang specific timelines. Memorize natin yan, di ba? 3 days, 7 days, 20 days. Ano nga yung 3 days? Simple. Ano yung 20 days? Hala, nakalimutan nyo na. 20 days if the request is highly technical or if the request or application involves health, public policy, safety, yon, highly technical. Sa LGU, meron pa silang 45 days. Ang 45 days naman pertain to requests that require the approval of their sanggunian. Depende sa LGU kung munisipyo yan, city, province. But for us, meron tayong 3, 7, and 20. Pag hindi nasunod yan, ano yung nangyayari? 888. Diba? So marami tayong available remedyo. 'Di ba? Actually hindi tayo yung mga tao, if we don't act on requests and application, they have really something to hold on to para ireklamo tayo. 888, that's one. Ngayon may bago si ARTA. Susulatan ka pa talaga. And you have to have a committee that deliberates on responses. So, lalabas talaga sa 201 files mo. If hindi na-release ng SE, ng finance nyo, yung mga remittance certificates beyond the timeline, pwede talagang ipasok yan sa 201 file ng responsible personnel. So, ito yon. Ito yung expectation that we have to meet. Now, ano yung panglaban natin dyan? Pag feeling natin, we go beyond 3 or 7 or 20, anong gagawin natin? Para hindi tayo ma-888 or ma-ARTA. Sige nga. Volunteer? Ito na lang. Sige, para mabilis. Reply and request for an extension from the applicant. Before the end of the 3rd day, email the requesting party. Now, this will take more than 3 days for the following reasons. Yun lang yun. At least give the requesting party due notice kung ano na yung stage ng kanyang application. Yun lang. Ganon kasimple. Okay? Okay. Letter F. If you remember, Medyo old na ako, pero I still remember the Filipino First policy of former President Carlos Garcia. Yan. Si NPDC, I know somehow, without you knowing, ginagawa nyo to. Kasi di ba nagpapamarket kayo dito? Naglalagay kayo, nag-invite kayo ng mga sellers to put their products here. Those are from farms, di ba? Or even locally made products. That's one good example of living up to this norm. If we cannot buy personally, if we prefer imported goods, at least by way of activity, nasusunod nyo to. Diba? Personally, I won't buy bags nga Philippine-made, example, or shoes na Philippine-made. But at least sa opisina, I can always devise programs that further this code. Kasi ang personal preference mo, there's nothing the government can do about it eh. But how do you live up to this norm? By doing programs that promote Filipino. Second paragraph, defend Philippine sovereignty against foreign intrusion. Under the Constitution and of course the Criminal Code, sovereignty, foreign intrusion, acts of rebellion, terrorism, nakakapasok yan dyan. I'm just trying to connect because ang laki na budget, actually, ang binibigay ng gobyerno just to defend our territory. So how do we also do our part? Nilagay na rin nila sa code natin na individually as public employees, in our daily lives, we are not supposed to incite anything that would endanger our sovereignty or compromise the integrity of our territory. Yun lang naman. Diba? Yung nagsasign sa mga movements against the government, siguro these are things, it's a matter of principle. I understand. No? Kasi minsan tayo, ang disappointment natin sa gobyerno will sometimes really drive us to move against the government. It's a personal preference and conviction. It's just that nasa code natin. That we are supposed to stand our ground against anything that we feel would endanger our sovereignty. Okay? Napaka-vague niya, but that's as much as I can share with you to encapsulate the spirit of this norm. Okay? Next. Yan. I-ano ko lang siya, i-connect ko siya sa prior na code. Commit to democratic way of life and values. In other words, protect free speech, the practice of religion. We're not supposed to tamper with individual rights. Maintain the principle of public accountability and manifest by deeds the supremacy of civilian authority over military. Ito yung sinasabi ko, let's not, we are supposed to avoid joining mga military movements. Kasi nasa civilian life tayo eh. Hindi natin trabaho yung mag-incite ng war. Diba? On our own, we are supposed to be agents of peace. So if may mga uprising dyan, unless you feel strongly that you should join, then it's our duty to conduct ourselves right and discourage others. Kasi wala naman yan madadatnan other than instability eh. Mawawalan tayo ng trabaho. Kasi ano yung aftermath ng instability ng gobyerno? Economics ang maapektuhan dyan una. It's a vicious cycle in the end na tayo din ang magsasuffer eventually. So that's the reason why that norm exists. Ito, maganda. Simple living. Parang walang mukhang simple lahat dito. Parang very safe ito eh. Meron talagang ostentatious kasi sa iba eh. Alam mo yon, yung parang kumikinang sa malayo pa lang. We are called to lead modest lives that is commensurate or appropriate to our position and income. And we are not to indulge in extravagant or ostentatious display of wealth in any form. 'Di ba? Meron tayo nitong mechanism din eh. Sige nga. Hindi, meron tayo nito. Ano na to? Established na to. For those whom we feel have amassed so much already for being in government, na parang, ang liit-liit ng sweldo pero nakaka-afford. Anong tawag doon? Sige nga, again. May tama akong narinig eh. Sige nga, you remember yung sino nga ba yung official na yon? Madami tayong official eh, who have been subject of Senate inquiry. Kasi ang layo ng tinatanggap nila versus sa mga bahay nila, properties nila, sasakyan nila. Anong tawag doon? Ha? Sige nga, narinig ko eh. Ba't may mic dyan? Sige nga, isa-isahin ko kayo. Wala. Lifestyle check. Lifestyle check. Madami sa gobyerno yan. Sinong nakakikilala? Sige, dito tayo sa mga simpleng situation. Sinong nakakikilala sa... You listen to the radio ba? There's a popular radio DJ whose husband has been removed from service. Yung tambalan sa umaga, ano ba yun? Nicole? Yan. Diba nasilip yung asawa niya? Who used to work for the Bureau of Customs. Oh, sige, chismisan tayo. Alam niyo na yung story? Yeah, okay. But I'm making this sort of sharing so you know na minsan sa pinakamaliit na sisilip. Unlucky ka lang if you're a small fish versus bigger criminals dyan na alam natin, right under our noses nangyayari. Pero nasampulan to yung asawa niya. Kasi I think ang posisyon niya sa bureau is parang nasa salary grade 4 lang ata. 13,000, something like that. Okay. Ito yung I think it was this time, mga 5 years ago, 6 years ago, na matunog ang Bureau of Customs. Kasi ilang beses na napalitan ang kanilang commissioner. With the effort to clean and clean ni President Duterte dati, ilan yung naupo dyan? Ito yung asawa ni Nicole, yung nasilip. Because ang dami niyang properties. The wife, not knowing siguro, she was always present on social media ata. Dinidisplay niya yung kanilang van na malaki, na parang coaster. And she was always, flying here and there, wearing designer clothes, bags that we cannot even afford. Pero how much does she earn versus yung sa asawa niya? How can you afford a 2 million coaster with a 13-month salary while sending 2 kids to exclusive schools and living in a medyo above medium range na subdivision? Diba? Question mark? Okay, sige. Let's say Nicole earns, I don't know how much a radio DJ earns. Pero masyadong malayo. Okay, eto naman, saan pumapasok si CSC? Ang dami nang na-issue si CSC na rules, guidelines, Ano pa ba yan? Ano ba yung ini-issue ni mga memorandum circular, no? To give some executory provisions to certain provisions of this act. Ito lang naman, ayan. Ano ba? Merit increases, praise, incentives. Ano pa? Continuing research and experimentation on measures which provide positive motivation to public officials and employees in raising the general level of observance of these standards. Naaangat ba? Ano yung sense nyo? Is CSC doing enough for us to realize these things? Yes? Natutuwa ako. Sige, magkwentuhan tayo or this is Spark Conversations. Ano yung opinion nyo? Di ba may racks tayo? I was talking to Mariel kanina. I think it was last year na ano daw kayo? Lecture on rules on administrative cases. Tama ba? Are you familiar with racks? Yung pinaka-latest, that's 2017 of the CSC. Mariel, inaantok na kami. Kape naman dyan. Sige, mag-reiterate na lang ako. Yung ARTA natin, or Ease of Doing Business, basically, ito lang yun eh. When it comes to, delivering effective, efficient, responsive public service, ito lang. Act promptly on letters and requests. Submit annual performance reports. Sa NM, monthly accomplishment reports kami. Kayo ba? Ano yung sa inyo? Monthly din? Okay. So, yun. Process documents and papers expeditiously. Meron na tayong naset na timeline aside from the 3-7-20 ng ARTA. I'm sure internally you also have prescribed timelines, no, on specific documents. So, yun lang siya. Act immediately on public's personal transactions and make documents accessible to the public. Ito naman nasa Citizens Charter to eh. Tsaka ini-enforce na rin ito ng Ease of Doing Business Act. How to make, that's why may transparency seal. Nasa website nyo rin ba, ng transparency seal? Otherwise, hindi kayo ma-ISO. Nagta-thumbs up si Sheena. Sa'yo ba to, Sheena? Okay, very good. Na-discuss ko na to kanina, so let's skip this. Ito, maganda. Yung mga dapat hindi natin gawin. Kanina, yung mga dapat natin gawin. Ngayon, yung mga hindi natin dapat gawin. Let's start with finances. Anong sinasabi sa Section 7 of the Act? We are not to directly or indirectly have any financial or material interest in any transaction requiring our approval. Madali lang naman intindihin yan. No? Wala naman tayong anomaly sa NPDC. If there is any transaction before you na may potential financial gain, say no. Madami pa tong ramifications later eh. This prohibited act. Makikita natin as we further in our discussion. So, pero ito very, very understandable. Sa labas naman, outside the office, ano yung hindi pwede? We are not allowed to own, control, manage, accept employment as officer, employee, consultant, counsel, broker, agent, trustee, or nominee in any private enterprise regulated, supervised, or licensed by our office. So, hindi tayo pwede maging part ng governing board, that is under the jurisdiction or supervision of our office as public officials. Okay? May question dito? Wala. Naintindihan? Naintindihan? Madali lang maintindihan eh. Okay. Eto. May mga architects tayo here. Accountant. Meron. This is on the presumption na yung position nyo is not accountant talaga. Like in my case, lawyer ako. I'm with the government. For me to engage in private practice, I have to seek authority to engage in limited practice. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. For example, you have an accountant here, no, na ang position niya is really not in accounting or finance. Kailangan niya rin mag-seek ng authority to engage in practice in private capacity. Ito lang ang ibig sabihin nito. Doctors also who are in public hospitals, if they want to do, they want to practice, medicine outside of their official hours, kailangan din nila. Kasi credited ang hours worked in public hospitals as public service. So ito lang yon. Yung mga representatives na abogado, yung mga congressmen natin na abogado, they also need to seek permission. No? Kung gusto nila mag-practice as lawyers. Otherwise, may prohibition talaga. You have to seek approval. Professor, yung mga after work nag-school, nagti-teach, we also sa NM, and I'm sure also in other agencies, kailangan ka rin magpaalam sa head of agency. Oo. Ay. Ito medyo boring, parang hindi ko to type i-discuss. Kasi, anyway, let me just read it for you. We are not to use or divulge confidential or classified information officially known by us by reason of our office and not made available to the public. Either one, to further our private interest or give due advantage to anyone or to prejudice public interest. Anong ibig sabihin yan? If may information that has been entrusted to us that's confidential in nature, duty-bound tayo na hindi isi-share yan. Ang classified information naman is usual sa agencies that are involved in safety and security, no? Protection of our territory, yung mga armed forces, uniformed personnel, PNP, police, yan, sa kanila yan. But every so often, we come across information that has been entrusted to us or are confidential in nature na hindi natin dapat i-divulge. Okay? Some, for example, sa HR, personal circumstances of a person that is sacred and private. Hindi natin pwedeng ipagkalat yan. Hindi natin pwedeng i-chismis yan. Hindi natin pwedeng i-rumor monger yan to humiliate a person. Okay? I think in all agencies, ang pinaka-sensitive, apart from, of course, the office of the head of agency, na madaming confidential information, would be human resource. Tama ba? That's why maganda if ang human resource natin has, strong system for keeping confidential records of our employees. Kasi minsan, may ipapasa na papel dyan, may nakalagay dyan na hindi dapat ma-disclose. Cases, for example, of sexual harassment, di ba highly confidential yan? Pero may nakakalabas minsan Nakakalabas minsan, nachichismis na, alam na kung sino yung nakasuhan, alam na kung sino yung nag-complain. And this is not supposed to be the case. Like, I would say yung private interests mo, hate mo yung taong yan. So, baka may kasalanan sa'yo, taga-HR ka. So to get back at that person or to malign that person or make the person look bad, you release information that ought to be private. Pwede kang kasuhan under this act. Yan. Yan talaga. Marites, yeah. Wala pa akong nakitang landmark case though that involves confidential information or private information that should have been kept and has been the source of an administrative case. Inaantay ko rin. That ought to be interesting. Okay, next. Ito. Ito talaga. We are not to solicit or accept directly or indirectly any gift, gratuity, favor, entertainment, loan, or anything of monetary value from any person in the course of our official duties or in connection with the operation being regulated or any transaction which may be affected by the functions of our office. What comes to mind? Ano ang policy that comes to mind? No gift policy. Oh, eto. Babalikan natin yan ang concept mamaya. No gift policy. Alam ng lahat yan, 'di ba? Meron kayong NPDC, meron kayong established rule on this. Meron bang guidelines kayo for this? Or wala? Or you just take it sa general definition niya? Wala kayo, ano? Wala. Okay, sige. Punta tayo sa exception. Kasi may exceptions naman eh. Not all gifts are supposed to be rejected or denied. Ha? Exception number 1. Yung gifts of nominal value na binibigay as souvenirs or courtesy gifts. Yung nagpapasalamat lang. Alam mo yon, yung you have a delegation of the Korean Embassy, for example. Pag nagbigay yan ng mga Korean items, handkerchiefs, gifts, pwede yan. Okay? Number 2, those in the nature of scholarships or fellowship, ito yung mga academic grants or medical treatment. Pwede yan tanggapin. Okay? Number 3, travel grants or expenses for travel entirely outside the Philippines of more than nominal value if appropriate and consistent with the Philippine interests. So dapat, walang Philippine leg. Kung i-cover man, i-shoulder man ang travel expense mo, walang Philippine leg. Okay? Tsaka, it should be in representation or something that will redound to the benefit of the country. So, ito yung mga gifts na pwedeng tanggapin. Okay. No gift policy. Question. I'm sure may procurement kayo. Diba? Nangyayari ba na yung minsan yung mga suppliers, prospective bidders, nagbibigay ng something? Libreng pakain, regalo pag may birthday, cake pag may birthday. Meron. Do you think that covers this? That falls into the no gift policy? What do you think? We may have varied opinion on that. Gray area yun eh. What do you think? Kung ikaw ang head ng back, ano yung magiging policy mo? May head ng back tayo dito. Procurement. May member ba ng back secretariat dito? Asan? Hindi okay lang, opinion lang to. Tatanggapin mo ba or hindi? Let's say, birthday ng supplier. Nagpakain. So, your opinion is, hindi siya violation ng no-gift policy. Pupunta tayo dyan, yung under RA 319, yung Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Kasi ang sinasabi sa Section 3 ng 319, directly or indirectly requesting or receiving. Receiving requesting or receiving any gift, present, share, percentage, or benefit for himself or for any other person in connection with any contract or transaction between the government and any other party wherein the public officer or employee in his official capacity has to intervene. Sige, dito tayo titingnan natin. Yung mga bigay na yan, are they nominal in value? We can argue that way Maliit lang naman yun diba? Pwede nating i-argue if 4 ka. 4 ka sa pagtanggap. Pwede nating i-argue. Diba? Hindi naman yan sasabihin, hindi naman yan so much Pwede man. Walang amount. Walang ceiling. For example, if it's beyond 5,000, it's no longer nominal. Titingnan din kasi yan sa capacity ng tao na nagbibigay. Pag grossly masyado nang mataas ang value. For example, ano ba yung mga luho mo, ma'am? Binigyan ka ng... Hindi ka magandang example. Yung mga maluho. Yung mga girls. Sige, for example, sige, boys, baka sabihin nyo For example, kayo, sir. Binigyan kayo, in-offer kayo ng Lamborghini. That's outright bribery. Sobrang... Still the same. Yeah, but the point is, titingnan natin, papasok ba siya dito? In connection with any contract or transaction between the government, involved ba ang gobyerno? Kasi let's say, head ka ng back, di ba? Yan. Yan yung mga outright, hindi na talaga nominal value. Sometimes, under the circumstance nga, 10,000 hindi na rin nominal value. 5,000 can also be too much already. So, yun. Yun yung pwedeng ma-argue. Kasi, that case na-experience ko yan. Na-experience ko yan yung isang supplier, not when I was with NM, but I was with another agency. Nagpakain ng supplier. So, lahat ng heads of departments sa office na yon binigyan ng cake. Lahat ng heads. Tapos, nagpakain pa lahat ng empleyado. Ano ang ginawa ng head ng BAC namin? Guess. Tinurn down niya. Tinurn down niya. Pwede kayong mag-prepare ng listahan. Pag bihon, no. Pag ganyan, no, ganyan. But yun nga, that's the point Diba? Ang question palagi would be, will this in a way put the office in a light na pwede tayong ma-negotiate or makompromiso, or this is something na out of generosity. Pero palaging napaka-thin ng line eh. When it comes to gifts given by people we deal with and may money involved. It's up to you. Tingnan mo yan palagi. Titingnan mo palagi, i-checklist mo yan, pasok ba? Pag na-meet mo lang ang contractor mo dyan sa labas, pinakain ka sa Jollibee, you think that qualifies? Grabe, ang hirap mo kausap, mama. No, just by way of example. So, timbangin nyo rin, i-check nyo siya. Pasok ba siya? Okay, case number 2. Directly or indirectly requesting or receiving any gift, present, or other pecuniary or material benefit from any person for whom the public officer in any manner or capacity has secured or obtained or will secure or obtain any government permit or license in consideration for the help given or to be given. Di ba that's why ARTA nga has a system already and nakalagay yan sa act na i-digitize lahat ng applications already pero under DICT yung mandate na yan eh, na i-digitize lahat ng systems of permitting and securing licenses. Pero I don't think that has been implemented. I don't know ang rate ng implementation yan by DICT, but that ought to be the way to go to remove, opportunities for fixing, for rate fixing. Ang no contact policy ng city government for accosting traffic violators na suspend, diba? That could have been one way. Kasi under ARTA, may zero contact policy din yan, na once na-file mo na yung request mo or application, you're not supposed to have any contact with the party. Except for the stage where you are, preliminarily complying with the requirements of the request. Pero after that, pag nakapasa na lahat ng requirements, you're not supposed to interact with the party. Yun yung patakaran under ARTA. Para walang opportunity to fix rates. Ito, ang SALN na to, ang daming nasampulan dito. Dahil sa SALN na to. Every April 15, nagko-comply tayo. February pa lang pinapasubmit na. Chine-check pa ba yan, ang contents? May SALN committee kayo. Computation. Okay. So, safe tayo dyan. Kasi may mga interesting case tayo dyan. We will revisit some cases later, no? For failure to comply. So, sa lahat naman, I'm sure everyone submits. Kasi kung hindi ka mag-submit, wala kang PBB. Tama ba? Okay. So, wala tayong problem dyan. So, I won't delve on that anymore. Ito, the concept of conflict of interest. We are to avoid conflicts of interest at all times. When a conflict of interest arises, we are called to resign from our position in any private business enterprise within 30 days from our assumption of office, or to divest ourselves of shareholdings or interest within 60 days from assumption. Okay. It won't mean anything until we understand what conflict of interest means. In a nutshell, ang conflict of interest is simply if we have conflicting interests that will somehow influence our decision-making in such a way na we are inclined to favor our personal or pecuniary interest over that of the government. Do I need to further elaborate or gets nyo na? Parang wala naman tayo masyadong malaking, at least for NPDC, no? Avenue on which this conflict of interest can arise? Parang wala akong nakikita. Ayan. Sorry. Penalties. Ito tandaan natin na if we commit any infraction covered by RA 6713, ano yung mga imposable penalty? Not so important, but at least you know. No? If ever na find guilty kayo, ito yung mga probable penalties. 6-month salary or suspension not more than 1 year or removal from office. Okay? Now, in particular, yung 7, yun yung mga prohibitions natin, yung 8, SALN, 9, divestment, imprisonment of not exceeding 5 years, and fine not exceeding 5,000 pesos or both. Or, in addition to that, disqualification from holding office. So, at least alam natin yung range. No? Yan. Masakit yung violation of yung mga things that we are not supposed to do, yung SALN, mabigat, tapos yung divestment, mabigat-bigat yung penalty doon. Okay, so that ends my chika-chika with you. It has been a pleasure. So, if you have questions, andito lang ako.
Ayan! Gising pa po ba tayong lahat? Yes, mga chika-chika talagang feeling ko gising na tayo. So, muli maraming salamat po, Attorney Tirol, sa pagbabahagi na inyong kaalaman at karanasan sa ating participants. At upang formal nating simula ng ating open forum, tinatawagan natin ang magsisilbing moderator sa ating talakayan, si Ms. Pamela Ann Calabio, Administrative Officer 4 ng Administrative Division. Palakpakan po natin siya.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah. At gusto ko rin po magpasalamat kay Attorney Tirol sa talaga namang very knowledgeable and informative na refresher sa atin sa Republic Act 6713. So, na-refresh po kaming lahat doon na talaga naman nakikita ko yung active participants din dito, na naandito siguro, more likely. So, kaya naman, sa pagkakataong ito, binubuksan na po natin ang ating open forum sa mga nais po magtanong o magbigay ng komento na nauugnay sa karanasan ng bawat kalahok dito, ay naandito po sa audience area ang ating microphone. At meron po tayong ibibigay na NPDC tote bag sa mga magtatanong. Ayun po, hawak na ni Miss Ella yung ibibigay sa mga nais magtanong. So, sino pong unang magtatanong about sa diniskusyon ni Attorney Tirol?
Ano po yung graft? Ano po yung plunder?
Ayan, okay. Ang plunder kasi, thank you, may amount yan, 50 million and up, that already qualifies plunder. I'm not mistaken. Ang graft is any form of corruption. That's why we have 31(9), the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. No? Walang specific, but any act that would point to, tawag dito, in a way, lead to a conclusion na you're misappropriating public funds for your benefit, personal interest, that already accounts for graft. That's why ang 31 na natin is worded that way. Ang plunder kasi has an amount. Tama ba ako? Parang 50 million as the law stands now.
Thank you, Attorney Tirol. And thank you, Ms. Riza, for your questions. So, ito na po ang iyong NPDC tote bag.
Ay, ma'am, pasensya na po makulit lang po ako Sorry po. Pero nagising ko ba kayo? Ma'am, yung mga nasisis ba na napatunayang nagplunder, saan po kaya napupunta yun? Okay.
Pinapabalik yan. No? Kinokollect ng gobyerno yan. Depende on the amount that is eventually determined to be owing to the government. Well, the fate of government, recovering ill-gotten money or wealth has not been, spectacular. Hindi yan na-recover. buo. But at least meron, di ba? Even, I did a research also sa COA, yung mga nadidisallow na mga amounts na nakikita nila na was not properly spent, mababa din ang kanilang recovery rate. Oo, nagastos. It's one thing to convict, it's one thing to find a person guilty, it's another to, to recover what has been lost by way of graft and corruption. Dapat, 'di ba? Dapat there should be a way, pero yun na lang eh. Kasi minsan, 'di ba, meron pang money laundering. So how can you recover yung mga money that has been lost by way of corruption? Yung mabibilis diyan, transfer yan eh. That's why nalolaunder yung money, nagiging clean money that's put back in circulation when at the first instance it was, lost in government coffers. Ganun siya. Hindi maganda yung record natin for recovering lost money through corruption.
Ayun, sana nasagot po. Ayun. Thank you, Ma'am Beng, and thank you, Attorney Tirol. So, may nais pa po bang magtanong o magbigay ng kanilang komento o i-share ang kanilang experience regarding dito? So, since wala na pong nais magtanong, pinapasalamatan ko po muli si Attorney Tirol sa inyong pagbibigay sa amin ng napakatalaga namang malaman na diskusyon kanina at sa mga participants po na aktibong nakikipagpartisipa simula pa kanina. So, yun po, ibibigay ko na po ang microphone sa host. Thank you!
Sa ngalan po ng National Parks Development Committee at ng Department of Tourism, nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyong lahat sa pakikilahok sa Park Conversations live session sa araw na ito. Sa puntong ito, ginagawad na po namin ang certificate ng pagkilala sa ating resource speaker. Tinatawagan po natin muli ang ating panauhing tagapagsalita, si Attorney Maria Cecilia Tirol. Kasama po natin sina Miss Reyna Hara, Chief Administrative Officer, Miss Mariel Paula Sugatan, Head of the Human Resource Section ng Administrative Division, at ang ating moderator na si Miss Pamela Ann Calabio, Administrative Officer 4 ng Administrative Division ng NPDC. Magkakaroon din po tayo ng photo opportunity kung saan makakasama natin sa isang group photo ang ating resource speaker. Naway nag-enjoy sa ating naging talakayan at nagdagdag din ng inyong kaalaman sa mga prinsipyong dapat na natatamasa ng mga pampublikong opisyal at kawani ng pamahalaan. At mahikayat ang bawat isa na magbigay ng serbisyo ng tapat at may integridad. Huwag po ninyong kalimutan sagutan ang ating survey form at siguraduhin po kayo po ay nakaregister. Ang submission ng survey form registration ay magiging basehan sa pagbibigay na inyong certificate. At kung nais po nating maging updated sa mga susunod pang events at activities sa Rizal Park, Luneta at Paco Park, maaari po ninyong i-like, follow, subscribe, share ang social media accounts ng NPDC ninyong makita sa inyong screen. Muli ako po si Sarah June nag-visit. Maraming salamat at magkita-kita po tayo muli sa susunod ng Park Conversations Live.